If your car was built in the last 10 years, there's a very real chance it has a CVT transmission. Nissan has been putting them in almost everything. Sentra Ultima, Hoagie Kicks. Honda uses them in the CR-V and Civic. Toyota has them in several models. Subaru uses them widely across their lineup. CVTs are in tens of millions of vehicles on American roads right now, and the vast majority of drivers who own one are making the same mistake. A mistake that doesn't show up immediately, doesn't trigger a warning light right away, doesn't make a dramatic noise the first time it happens. It just quietly shortens the life of one of the most expensive components in your vehicle until one day the transmission starts slipping, or shuddering, or stops working entirely. And then you're looking at a repair bill between $3,000 and $7,000. Today I'm going to show you exactly what that mistake is, why it happens, what it does to a CVT, and what you need to do to make sure it doesn't happen to you. First, let's make sure you understand what a CVT actually is, because it's fundamentally different from a conventional, automatic transmission, and that difference is exactly why it has specific maintenance needs that most drivers don't know about. A traditional automatic transmission uses a set of fixed gears, typically 6, 8, or 10, depending on the vehicle, and shifts between them as you accelerate and decelerate. You've felt this your whole life. The slight pause and engagement as the transmission moves from one gear to the next. A CVT, continuously variable transmission, has no fixed gears at all. Instead, it uses two variable diameter pulleys, connected by a steel belt or chain. As you accelerate, the pulleys change their effective diameter continuously, creating an infinite number of ratio combinations between a very low ratio for starting and a very high ratio for highway cruising. The engine can always operate at its most efficient RPM for any given speed, which is why CVT-equipped vehicles tend to get better fuel economy than equivalent vehicles with traditional automatics. There's no stepped shifting, no gear hunting, just smooth, continuous ratio change, as driving conditions demand. That belt and pulley system is what makes a CVT both efficient and sensitive. The steel belt runs under significant clamping pressure between the pulleys. This is what transfers power, the clamping pressure, the pulley movement, and the ratio changes are all hydraulically controlled, using the transmission fluid as both lubricant and hydraulic medium. And this is where the critical difference from a conventional automatic becomes clear. CVT fluid isn't just lubricating metal surfaces, it's actively transmitting hydraulic force to control the pulleys. It's providing the exact friction characteristics the belt needs to grip the pulleys without slipping, and it's cooling a system that generates significant heat from that continuous belt under pressure operation. The fluid in a CVT is doing more jobs simultaneously than the fluid in a conventional automatic, and it's doing them in a more sensitive, mechanical environment. Now let's talk about the mistake. The single most common and most damaging thing CVT owners do, or more accurately, don't do, is neglect the fluid change. Specifically, going too long between fluid changes, or believing that the fluid never needs to be changed at all. And the reason so many drivers make this mistake comes directly from advice they received from a manufacturer or a service department. Lifetime fluid. Nissan, for years, labeled their CVT fluid as lifetime fluid, and told owners in their manuals that under normal conditions, the fluid didn't need to be changed. Other manufacturers made similar claims. And this advice, while technically not false under laboratory-controlled, ideal conditions, turned out to be genuinely harmful advice for real-world drivers. Here's the reality. CVT fluid degrades. It degrades from heat, which the CVT generates continuously during operation. It degrades from mechanical shear. The steel belt running against the pulleys breaks down the long polymer chains in the fluid that give it its specific viscosity and friction characteristics. It degrades from contamination. Tiny metallic particles from normal belt and pulley will accumulate in the fluid over time, turning it from a clear protective medium into an abrasive one. The American Transmission Rebuilders Association has documented that transmission fluid can begin to break down significantly after 30,000 miles, particularly under stop-and-go driving, towing, or high-temperature conditions. Fluid that started as a precisely engineered product, formulated for a specific mechanical job, becomes something that no longer does that job correctly. And when CVT fluid fails, the consequences are severe and expensive. Nissan learned this the hard way. In 2018, Nissan recalled over 1 million vehicles due to CVT failures linked to inadequate fluid conditions and overheating failures that were directly connected to the lifetime fluid. No service-required guidance they had provided to owners. That recall was a real-world, large-scale demonstration of what happens when CVT fluid isn't treated as a consumable that needs periodic replacement. Honda issued a recall for certain models in 2019, where extended fluid intervals contributed to transmission failures. These aren't obscure incidents. They're documented events involving millions of vehicles and billions of dollars in warranty repairs and recalls, all tied to the same root cause: CVT fluid that degraded past the point where it could protect the transmission it was supposed to serve. So what do manufacturers actually recommend now, after the real-world data came in? Nissan recommends changing CVT fluid every 30,000 miles under severe driving conditions, stop-and-go traffic, frequent short trips, towing, or extreme temperatures. Honda recommends a CVT fluid change every 60,000 miles under normal conditions, with shorter intervals for severe driving. Subaru recommends every 30,000 miles for vehicles used in towing or demanding conditions. Toyota specifies intervals that vary by model, but generally fall in the 30,000 to 60,000 mile range depending on conditions. And like oil change intervals, every manufacturer defines a shorter, severe service interval alongside the normal one, because stop-and-go city driving, short trips, hot climates, and regular highway towing all accelerate CVT fluid degradation beyond what the standard interval assumes. The practical takeaway is this: if you drive in city traffic regularly, if your commute involves frequent stops, if you live somewhere with extreme summer heat or winter cold, or if you've ever towed with a CVT-equipped vehicle, you are a severe service driver, by your manufacturer's own definition. Your CVT fluid change interval is the shorter one, not the longer one. And if your car came with documentation saying the CVT fluid is lifetime fluid, treat that documentation with significant skepticism and consult the updated maintenance guidance from your manufacturer or a qualified transmission specialist. The real-world data has overridden the optimistic laboratory projections that produced the lifetime fluid claims. The second major mistake, and this one can destroy a CVT almost immediately rather than gradually, is using the wrong fluid. CVT fluid is not interchangeable with conventional automatic transmission fluid. This is not a minor distinction. Standard ATF automatic transmission fluid has completely different friction characteristics from CVT fluid. The friction modifiers in ATF are formulated for the clutch packs and gear interfaces in a conventional automatic. They're not formulated for the steel belt and pulley interface in a CVT. Putting ATF into a CVT creates the wrong friction environment for the belt and pulleys. The belt can slip under load because the fluid isn't providing the correct grip characteristics. Slipping under the clamping pressure the CVT generates produces heat, and where that damages the belt and pulley surfaces rapidly. A CVT that runs on the wrong fluid can sustain significant internal damage in a relatively short period. We're talking thousands of miles, not tens of thousands. Even within CVT fluids, the specifications matter. Nissan's NS3 CVT fluid is not the same as Subaru's CVT EF2. Honda's HCF2 is a different formulation from Toyota's TC or Aisin's CVT fluid. These aren't just brand marketing, they're genuinely different chemical formulations engineered for the specific friction and viscosity requirements of each manufacturer's CVT design. Using a generic universal CVT fluid that claims compatibility with everything is a risk. Some universal fluids meet the relevant specifications, others don't. The safe approach is to use the fluid specified by your manufacturer, either OEM fluid from the dealer or a quality aftermarket fluid that explicitly and specifically meets your manufacturer's CVT fluid specification by name, not just generically. When in doubt, OEM fluid costs a bit more but eliminates any uncertainty about compatibility. Overfilling and underfilling are two more mistakes that specifically damage CVTs, and that the average driver has little awareness of. A conventional engine's oil level is easy to check with a dipstick marked with min and max lines. Many CVTs don't have a traditional dipstick. They have closed systems with a fill plug, and checking or filling the fluid requires knowing the correct procedure for your specific vehicle, often including having the fluid at a specific temperature and the vehicle on a perfectly level surface. Getting this wrong causes real problems. Too little fluid, and the hydraulic pressure drops. The pulleys can't clamp correctly. The belt slips. The system overheats. Too much fluid, and the excess gets whipped into foam by the rotating components. Foamed fluid can't lubricate or transmit hydraulic pressure effectively, which creates many of the same problems as insufficient fluid. CVT fluid service genuinely requires attention to procedure in a way that a straightforward engine oil change doesn't, which is why most manufacturers and experienced mechanics recommend having it done by someone with specific CVT service experience, rather than treating it as a generic fluid change. There's also a step that many shops skip that's specifically important on Nissan CVTs and some other modern CVT-equipped vehicles: resetting the CVT fluid degradation counter after a fluid change. Modern CVTs in many Nissan vehicles use the Transmission Control Module, the TCM, to track estimated fluid condition based on driving data. mileage, and transmission temperature history. This counter doesn't directly test the fluid. It calculates a degradation estimate based on operating conditions. When you change the fluid but don't reset this counter, the TCM continues operating under the assumption that old, degraded fluid is in the system. This can cause the TCM to use incorrect line pressure, incorrect shift strategy, and incorrect cooling management, all based on a fluid condition that no longer exists. The result is a transmission that's working against its own control system, which creates unnecessary wear and can cause performance issues even with fresh, correct fluid. Not every shop knows to do this reset. Ask specifically whether the fluid degradation reset is part of the service before you agree to it. Now let's talk about driving habits, because the way you use a CVT equipped vehicle matters significantly for how long the transmission lasts. The CVT is specifically designed for smooth, consistent driving. It thrives on gradual acceleration, steady highway cruising, and predictable speed changes. What it doesn't handle as gracefully as a conventional automatic is aggressive driving, hard acceleration from a stop, rapid speed changes, or consistent high-load operation. When you floor a CVT from a stop, the transmission has to manage the belt under maximum clamping force. At the same time, the engine is making peak torque. This is the highest stress operating condition for the belt and pulley interface, and doing it repeatedly puts more wear on those components than the fluid change interval alone can compensate for. Towing with a CVT-equipped vehicle deserves specific mention because it's an area where a lot of drivers get into trouble. Many CVT-equipped crossovers and small SUVs have tow ratings, typically in the 1,500 to 3,500 pound range, and drivers assume that if the manufacturer gives a tow rating, the vehicle handles towing easily. The tow rating tells you the maximum the vehicle can pull safely in terms of structural and braking capacity. It doesn't tell you what sustained towing does to a CVT. Towing your maximum capacity on a CVT ST, especially in hilly terrain or in hot weather, generates significantly more heat in the transmission than normal driving. CVTs don't have the same thermal management capacity as larger purpose-built truck transmissions. Regular towing, at or near the maximum rating, in demanding conditions, accelerates CVT fluid degradation and belt wear. If you regularly tow with a CVT vehicle, shorten your fluid change interval accordingly, and be aware that you're operating the transmission in its most demanding conditions. Let's go through the warning signs that your CVT is already struggling, because catching these early can mean the difference between a fluid service and a transmission replacement. The first and most common sign is slipping, the sensation that the engine revs up, but the vehicle doesn't accelerate proportionally. It feels like the transmission is momentarily disconnected from the engine. This happens when the belt isn't getting adequate grip on the pulleys, which can be caused by degraded fluid, low fluid level, or worn belt and pulley surfaces. The second sign is shuddering or jerking during acceleration, a vibration or rough feeling as you pull away from a stop or accelerate through a certain speed range. This typically indicates that the fluid's friction modifiers have broken down to the point where the belt-pulley interface isn't smooth. Third is unusual noise, whining, grinding, or humming that wasn't there before, particularly during acceleration or deceleration. Fourth is hesitation, when shifting from park to drive, or when pulling away from a stop. A noticeable delay before the vehicle begins to move that represents the CVT taking longer than normal to engage. Fifth is reduced fuel economy. If your MPG drops noticeably without any other obvious cause, the CVT operating below efficiency is a potential cause. And sixth is a burnt smell, or visibly dark, contaminated fluid. Healthy CVT fluid is typically light in color, often translucent pink, light green, or amber, depending on the manufacturer. Dark brown, black, or fluid with a burnt odor is fluid that has passed its service life significantly. Any one of these signs warrants immediate attention. Several of them appearing together means the transmission needs diagnosis before further driving causes additional damage. The repair cost math here is stark. A CVT fluid service at an independent shop runs $150 to $250. At a dealership, $200 to $350. A CVT rebuild or replacement, depending on the vehicle, runs $3,000 to $7,000. Nissan CVT replacements in particular have been documented at $3,500 to $5,000 for common models like the Sentra and Rogue. That cost difference, $200 in fluid service versus $4,000 in transmission replacement, is the entire argument for staying on top of CVT maintenance. It's not subtle. It's not a close call. It's a 20-to-1 cost ratio that makes proper CVT maintenance one of the most financially obvious decisions in vehicle ownership. Here's the action plan. First, find out exactly what's in your car. Open your owner's manual and confirm whether your vehicle has a CVT or a conventional automatic. If you're not sure, Look up your specific vehicle on the manufacturer's website, or ask a trusted mechanic. If you have a CVT, find the maintenance schedule for the transmission fluid, specifically the severe service interval, not just the normal one, and compare it honestly against how you actually drive. Second, find out when the fluid was last changed. If you bought the vehicle used, and don't have complete maintenance records, have the fluid inspected at a qualified shop. They can check the fluid's color, smell, and condition to give you an idea of where it stands. Third, when you have the service done, confirm that the shop is using the correct fluid for your specific transmission, not a generic CVT fluid, the specific formulation your manufacturer specifies. And on Nissan CVTs, confirm that the fluid degradation counter will be reset. Fourth, adjust your interval based on how you actually drive. Stop-gill commuter, hot climate, regular towing near max capacity, you're a severe service driver, and your interval is the shorter one. Highway commuter in a moderate climate, light loads only, you may reasonably go toward the longer end of the range. But in either case, you are changing this fluid on a schedule, because the lifetime fluid claim has been disproven in the real world, at significant cost to drivers who believed it. The CVT in your vehicle is an engineering achievement. It's one of the reasons modern crossovers and sedans can deliver the fuel economy numbers they do. It's also a precise mechanical system that has specific maintenance requirements. Meet those requirements, and a CVT can last the life of the vehicle. Ignore them, and you're looking at one of the most expensive repairs in everyday automotive ownership. The choice is completely within your control. If this helped you understand what your CVT actually needs, hit the like button, drop a comment, and tell me what vehicle you drive, and whether you knew this about CVT fluid before today. I read every comment. Subscribe for more straightforward, honest car information. No products to sell, no exaggeration. Just what actually helps you keep your car running longer.